金色ラブリッチェ。
The 23rd, Christmas Eve. It's gotten sort of foggy out.
寒いね。お、明日の天気雪だとさ。何これ、まさかのホワイトクリスマス？
For real? It'd be one thing in Hokkaido, but it hardly ever snowed in this area. That would be awesome if it did. I hope it doesn't snow until tomorrow though.
あら、雪嫌い？
I hate it when it's coming down. It gets a narrow pass if it piles up on days off.
まあ遊べない雪に意味はないよね。今も寒いし。はあ、地球温暖化さん、もうちょい本気出してほしいわ。
I was out making my last stock-up run of the year with Heroina. Tomorrow was Christmas Eve, then came Christmas Day, and New Year's Day was not long after. The majority of the shops would be jam-packed with customers over the next 2 weeks, so this was the final day to stock up on groceries. The plan for today was the same as usual: stockpile cup noodles and otherwise, then head home.
エルチンがいるのにカップ麺いるの？
Elle's going back to her country next week.
ああ。
Oh, now that you reminded me, I feel depressed. I wouldn't get to see Elle for a while. Suddenly, I felt incredibly lonely when I realized how much time we'd spent together over the last several days.
寂しさを乗り越えて強くなりんさい、男の子。それに、ポーラも正月は実家でしょ？
Yeah, I've got to make a special trip back to show them my grades and get whined at.
あと、ブロンドパツキンスタイル抜群な女騎士のフィアンセができたって報告しないとね。
If I spring that on them out of nowhere, they'd probably think I lost my mind. How should I tell them? I was better off not thinking about them right now. We reached the store.
さて買っていきますか。あ、あらあら。今好きな会社のリップでクリスマスカラーってのが出てるんだけど。
Why don't you grab it?
私みたいな美少女にクリスマスプレゼントすると来年から女運が上がるって説があるよ。
But I've already got a fiancé.
ああ、前はいい感じのピアスとか買ってくれたのに。
That only happened since I put it on Sortilege's card. If I were to do that now, Elle would be suspicious of me.
なるほど。
I'd hoped that Elle would be jealous, but I had no reason to treat Heroina today either. With that, Heroina grinned like crazy and...
そういや、あの時天下も一緒に買ったよね。あれ、エルチンにはどう伝えたの？
Ugh. I remembered. I didn't buy that, you snuck it into the cart. I managed to trick her somehow. Yeesh, slipping a sex toy past me like that. A light bulb flashed over my head.
どうったん？
Nothing much. It wasn't a big deal, to be honest. My situation was completely different back then. It just gave me an idea that aligned with my current reality. Heroina and I parted ways after we finished shopping and... I'm back.
おかえりなさい、オーラ。
Elle had come over again today. Forget almost, we were meeting every single day. Wouldn't she be lonely over the New Year's holiday?
インスタント食品を買い込んだのですか？こういうの良くないと思いますよ。
You won't be around over New Year's, though.
もう。国に帰るときにはいくつか作り置きをしておきます。100% とは言えませんが、なるべく食べる回数は減らしてくださいね。
I will.
あ、焼きおにぎり。
They tasted good, so I picked some up on my way home. Want some? We had a nice, friendly lunch together. Do you have anything planned for this afternoon?
特にはオーロと共にいたくて来ただけですので。
That made me happy. I've actually got a full schedule planned.
そうなのですか?
Yup. Hiya! I pushed her back onto the bed. As I mobbed Elle, I held her in my arms.
こらもう
I made up my mind to love all over you this afternoon.
もうそういう言い方は
Russell.
なんですこれ
That was when she noticed a certain something other than groceries that I had bought.
猫の耳ですか?
Yup, cat ears. A go-to prop that's got the same historical legacy as bloomers. Unlike bloomers, so long as cats never go extinct, cat ears are always going to be in high demand and produced for all eternity.
よくわかりません。コスプレというやつですか?
Cosplay culture has a good hold in Europe. How about in Southeast Asia?
なくはないですが、私はあまり。
Her lifestyle wasn't exactly compatible with leisure activities like these. Either way, you should try them on. You'd look adorable in them. I held the set out to her. Elle wasn't the least bit prejudiced toward the cat ears, as she'd had no prior exposure to such things, and she eyed them curiously.
いかがです?
Cute. Just as I had expected. Heck, a beautiful woman like Elle would look cute no matter what she wore. The truly adorable part, however, was up next. Okay, Elle, come over here. I sat on the bed.
はい。
Elle docilely sat on my lap. For as prudish as she could be at times, Elle would generally consent to anything so long as I didn't force her to strip on the spot. And so? No, you're a cat right now. I don't think cats sit like that.
人の膝に座るのは行儀の良いことでは。
Don't think about it logically. Come on, Elle. Say it for me. Meow.
にゃー、にゃーん。
Okay, now work cat noises into your speech pattern.
よくわかりません。
Come again?
よくわかりませんにゃ。
It helped that she played along so easily. The next part is really important. From this moment on, I want you to pretend you're a cat and fawn over me.
コスプレはコスチュームの遊びでは。
Don't sweat the small stuff. Here, come on over. El meow.
もう、おかしなことを言う人です。にゃー。
Elle gently plopped her body against my lap. She really was being a good sport about it. Good girl, El meow. You're so adorable.
にゃー。
Poor.
にゃー。
I pat her chin and cheek. Elle responded ticklishly, but seemed pleased by the gesture. We're cooking with gas now. But this was only a fraction of what I had in mind. My true goal came next. Come on, Elle. Pet.
もう。オーラ、ちょっと触り方がいやらしい。
You don't like it?
そんなわけ。でも、はしたない気持ちになります。
What's the harm in that? Here now. Meow. I prioritized rubbing her breasts and thighs, parts that were irrelevant to a cat. In no time at all, Elle got an intoxicated look in her eyes. It didn't take long for her to become aroused, and it was thanks to this pet play that was putting her in the mood. Everything was all going according to plan. Touch.
もう。
She didn't resist as I rubbed her supple ass. With rosy cheeks, she contentedly accepted my caress, so much so that she looked a bit pleasured. Now I just had to get her used to this situation, then have her take in my little surprise. Carefully. This would be a cakewalk as long as nothing got in the way.
なんとか仕事は昨日までで終わらせて、今日は自由な時間が作れたわ。オーラとエルったら2人は自由にしていいとは言ったけれど、電話もくれないんだもの。まあいいわ。今日は素敵なサプライズを用意したことだし。オーラの様子を見に行きましょう。きっとエルもいるわね。
As I stroked Elle atop my lap, her breathing became more erratic and passionate with each passing moment. I would occasionally give her butt cheek in my grasp a nice, good squeeze and get a blatantly aroused moan in return. Say, Elle, is there anywhere you would like me to rub more?
頭を撫でてほしいにゃ。
Aren't I petting you as we speak? Take that! Isn't there somewhere you would like rubbed more? I said as I ran a finger along her spine. It was clear that her beautiful waistline had been bugging consistently for a while now, as that ticklishness raced through her. Don't you want me to rub you here too? I pushed into and stimulated toward the middle of her round butt. I was sure the stimulation must have penetrated all the way into the sensitive area hidden deeply within her gorgeously sculpted mounds. Right?
はい、オーラ、エルのお尻、撫でてほしいですにゃ。
How she had fallen. Elle enticed me, pointed her hips my way, and pleaded as quickly as could be. Good, very good. I put my hands on her, as if to suggest it was only because she asked. This is... What's wrong, Elle? Haven't you got a tail?
はい。
Where did your tail go? Is it here? Or here? Squish, squish. I gave her a rough massage. Her shrieks became more intense. Unable to even resist any longer, Elle went limp.
なんです尻尾って急に言われても。
Oh no, not having a tail is a major dilemma for a cat. I pulled out the item I had kept hidden in the futon with my other hand. We'll have to put one on you. I had bought this while I was at it, an enormous human-sized cat tail that would fit into her butt.
なんですオーラ、その猫の尻尾がついたシャクトリムシのようなそれは。
But Elle's eyes had shifted to the tail's base. An inchworm, that was a fitting description. It was commonly called a pearl egg vibrator. Like the name suggested, it had several orbs, like those of a pearl necklace chained together. It's the perfect shape to make it easy to put on. I added while covering it with lubricant.
装着ってどうやって。
Alrighty then, time for another cut. I'll see you in a second.
金色ラブリッチェ。
Compared to yesterday, the weather was nice and clear. But the wind was strong to make up for it. If this turned into a squall, it seemed like it might snow. There also wasn't much hope of the temperature rising. The only thing to do on days like these is to hole up your room, hide in bed, and wait it out.
だらけすぎです。
Oh, come on, it's freaking cold.
もう。
If you snuggle up to me, then I'll work up the courage to get out of bed, even if it's cold. But if you snuggle up to me, that might actually backfire and make me want to drag you back into bed.
じゃあダメです。今日は忙しいのですから我慢してください。
Okay.
先輩、お久しぶりです。
Hey there, Merry Christmas.
メリークリスマスです。
The population density was increasing every so slightly in the deserted dormitory. You went home, but now you're back?
はい、今 夜のことを考えて一旦お姫様にご招待されるなんて一生で一度はるかないかですから。
The boarders who received Sylvie's invitation had to be using the place to store their luggage. She said she told everyone, so there'll be around 300 people. I wonder how many will be there.
150ってとこじゃない？なんだかんだでお忙しいお坊ちゃまお嬢様の多いノーブル学園だし。
You think so? I would bet around half of the invitees would actually show. Invitations from Princess were just that big of a deal.
屋敷で大きな行事があると思うと、ここにいるのが少々落ち着きませんね。
いつもなら現場でキビキビ指揮してる派だもんね。
エキスナたちを信頼はしていますが、不備はないだろうか。
It had been some time since I'd seen her don the face of the knight's captain, and she looked concerned at that. Now, have confidence in how peaceful Japan can be and leave the rest to security. Oh, should we be going?
そうですね。
The party wasn't until later that night, so we had plenty of time to kill. For now, the fencing club was having a meet-up, so we headed to the academy. I can't believe we've got practice all the way up until Christmas.
今日はまだ前日じゃないですか。
That goes double for Christmas Eve. It's a romantic holiday.
厳密に言ってクリスマスとは24日の日没から、つまり現時点ではイブでもありません。
Right, got it. Europeans are really fussy about that kind of thing, huh? In Japan, the 24th was largely considered to be Christmas Eve and a day for lovers to be super mushy. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, eh?
そうですね。
悪いねみんな。
We weren't able to reserve the martial arts dojo today. There weren't that many members gathered either, less than 10.
みんな彼氏と一緒に過ごすんですって。
裏切り者ども。私たちはカバレロ様だけに愛を誓ったはずですのに。
Things seem to be going pretty well for them, though. These girls squealed like crazy over L on a regular basis, but a bunch of them actually did have boyfriends.
悔しくないもん。カバレロ様がいれば。
If I were to wager, these two just might wind up the sort of 30-somethings who, after going through many ordeals, eventually found themselves checking in at a wedding only to get drunk on sparkling wine, and wine that there were no good men in the world.
はいはい。まあ、来ないやつは来ないで仕方ない。練習するよ。人数少なすぎて武道場取れなかったから。今日は外で走り込み。
私は着替えてきます。オーロ、後でまた。
Yeah. I saw her off. Now then, I was free until tonight.
市松くん。
Ah, tomorrow's the deadline, so please talk to Elle about it instead.
そうかい。
Elle needed to decide whether or not she'd continue as a member of the fencing club, and it was clear how worried their advisor was. I brushed her off, since it wasn't my choice to make. Now then, as for me... Oh. What are you doing?
や、どうもどうも。
It was that middle-aged reporter from before. He had his camera, but he couldn't get in through the school gates, so he was loitering around instead.
今日ってフェンシングの練習しないの？
Just some long-distance running drills, apparently.
ああ、参ったな。1枚欲しかったんだけど。フェンシングやってる紹介するための写真でランニングの写真撮るってなんかいやらしいよね。
Yeah, that sounds pretty ski-wee.
また今度にしますか。
It helped that he was a man who could keep things separate. Now then. So you're pursuing Elle again? He should have gotten some decent shots of her at the last competition, so I had thought the matter was done and over with. But as I thought that to myself,
何言ってるの？これからが本番だよ。フェンシング界期待の新星であるフエンさんとカバレロさんのライバル関係は今後のスポーツ業界でも盛り上がること間違いなしだし。
Huh?
あ、そうそう。これこの前の試合の記事が載ってる号ね。後で顧問の先生に渡しておいて。
He handed me a magazine. Monthly Sports Connection Special Edition. Which athletes to keep your eye on in 2020? Huh? A sports magazine? I took a look inside, and it was an exceptionally serious sports magazine. It contained sports coverage for things like baseball and soccer, articles about the 2016 gold medalists, as well as interviews that showed no evident gender bias. Huh? What? This is a series magazine?
真面目っちゃ真面目だよ。日本は世界的に見てスポーツ全般に打ち込む国民性じゃないから、ちょっとでも盛り上げていこうってね。
I looked for Elle's picture. Quite a number of athletes were introduced together in the feature on fencing. That Fuenchinku girl was the primary subject of the article. She was shouldered with the future of the Japanese fencing community, and the photo of Elle described her as being her quote-unquote greatest rival. This is how you used Elle's picture?
まあね。あ、何？まさかエッチな雑誌にエッチな意味で載せると思ってた？
Yup. I was totally convinced it was the type of magazine that would lure customers in with double-page nude spreads.
ひどいな。僕こう見えてもスポーツ振興会の役員とかもしてるんだよ。
I'm sorry. I guess I had you pegged all wrong.
まあ、普段買う雑誌は自分で書いたお堅いのより女の子の袋閉じが楽しみなのばっかりだけどさ。
No, what I pegged wrong was this old man's awful personality.
君のことも知ってるよ。浜南の市松往路くん。
Ah.
おっと、この話はもうしない方がいいかな。
Yeah, please keep it to yourself. At this point, I had pushed the past out of my mind. But yeah, I had been overly cautious, but if this was how these photos were going to be used, maybe I should actually have seen this in a positive light. Besides, this is... Oh, I get it. It's because Elle's not Japanese.
そう、今はいいけど、2020年には日本にとっては最大の敵になるね。まあ、それも楽しみではあるけどね。たとえ別の国でも頑張ってる若い子はどうしても応援したくなっちゃうよね。いや、こういう考え方は日本のスポーツ振興には良くないかな。
I largely tuned the old man out at that point. I was engrossed in the magazine he'd handed me instead. The picture he'd taken of Elle came out so cool and worked in the magazine perfectly. More importantly...
オーラ？
Hey, practice over?
はい。パーティーまでもう少し時間がありますね。どうします？何か食べていきます？
Well, let's not eat. These parties don't come around often, so I'd rather eat there.
ですね。
Want to spend a little time together instead?
うん？
Rather than my place, I picked here to kill some time. Talk about cold, the temperature had tanked and it was awfully windy to boot. But to make up for it,
いい夕焼けですね。
isn't it? This was the perfect spot to enjoy the scenery as we watched the sun set into the lake. We were seated at the table Sylvie always used. It was usually dressed up in a white tablecloth, but this table was somewhat worn down. Oh well, it was plenty just for a break. The academy roof would honestly be better, but that spot was Rias. Better not. The view was plenty gorgeous from here.
さっき例の記者とまた話していたようですが。
Oh, yeah. He gave me this. I ended up bringing it with me. I really need to give it to the advisor tomorrow. I handed her the magazine.
へえ、もう記事になったのですか。
You knew? That reporter said he's writing an article for a sports magazine.
そう紹介されていますから。オーロどこの記者だと思ったので？
Apparently, she had known. If he'd been a reporter for a third-rate tabloid like I'd thought, I never would have let him cover the competition. But
ライバル候補ナンバーワンですか。なかなかいい扱いにしていただいてますね。
yeah, Elle and I were both equally satisfied with the article. Hey, Elle.
はい。
Beautiful, isn't it?
ですね。
The sun was in the perfect spot as it slowly sank into the horizon. Its position allowed the sky to turn into a gorgeous shade of gold.
前も二人で見ましたね。
Yeah, back when we first met.
シルビー様がおっしゃっていた日本に来て一番綺麗な時間。
It was our golden time. One of my friends told me about it. They also said it's best to strike a good balance between the essential and dispensable parts of your life.
うん、
I agree with that sentiment.
ですね。私も最近そう思うようになりました。人生にはしなければならないこととそうではないことがあってそうではないこともやがて大切になっていくと。
I hadn't chosen this place for any particular reason. Still, it made for a romantic Christmas. My friends said this too. The time you spend living should be radiant.
そう、大切なお友達なんですね。
Precious. I had never perceived Teria as fitting into such an exaggerated category. She was a childhood friend who happened to be around, who I could have ordinary conversations with. That was all. Yeah, she was important. You're right, a precious friend. Elle quickly closed the magazine.
そうですね。輝く時間は大切です。人生は輝く時を目指すべきだと。
I wondered if Elle had already made her decision. Since when? There was no telling. That was only for her to know. The one thing I could say was, just because you want to shine doesn't mean it will happen or that it'll be easy. Being golden, I mean. But I do believe it's important to set your sights on something extraordinarily meaningful. Something I couldn't do.
オーロ、
Elle held my hand tightly. I had been avoiding the subject, but Elle knew my circumstances. But that discussion was for another day. But if that's your goal, I'll support you. I'll be right there cheering you on at your side.